I recently got into the Super Sentai series. Now, I've been a Power Rangers fan, sort of. I didn't really grow up on it, but I knew about Power Rangers. I thought they were always cool. I enjoyed the franchise. But recently, I've been watching a lot of the Super Sentai stuff. More importantly, I believe it was the Reshin Sentai Togger, the ones that like the train guys. Those are pretty cool. Um, Going into their lore, you're watching it, and then they had a meetup with Kamen Rider Gaiama, right? So then that led me down that pipe hole. Long story short, I have a question. Why didn't we get any of this over here? I understand we did get Power Rangers. I know I watched Time Force. I've seen like Dino Thunder, stuff like that. But how come we didn't get any of this super cool stuff over here? And it then led me to think, do we still get Power Rangers that's over here? I'm pretty sure we do, but it's no way it's nearly as good as anything that we get nowadays. I mean, than we used to get, right? And so now I'm wondering, for Power Rangers to be good, what is required of it, right? And I've come to the realization it's not graphics. Like when I'm watching these the show from like 2014, I don't care how it looks. The fight scenes look a little cheesy, but that's kind of like the charm of Power Rangers, right? Like the fight looks a little cheesy. There's like the jokes don't always hit, but I think that's kind of the reason I enjoy it so much. And that then goes to show if they do make a newer Power Rangers or Super Sentai or Kamen Rider or any of that stuff, does it need to have this huge budget behind it? Because I know for a fact a lot of the reasons that live action shows that come out now are so like different is because every single one of them feels like they need a movie level budget for just like an 8 episode series. Netflix is a big contender. A lot of those Netflix originals and stuff like that, they come out with these really high budget shows that don't really need that kind of a budget. I believe this might be part of the reasons we don't have Stranger Things 5 yet. I'm not a Stranger Things fan, but I know that the Stranger Things 5 has been coming out for like 6 years. Like, hurry up and drop it. But it's because of stuff like that that we have all these shows that come out with these really huge budgets, and then when these shows flop, we get punished as like consumers. For example, Marvel is a very big opponent of this. They dropped a bunch of Marvel shows that have these really high budgets, and that's not necessarily a good thing because when the show flops, then they take it as these people don't want this content. When in reality, I'm okay with the content sometimes. Sometimes I'm okay with the content, but it's like we're okay with the content for the most part. It's just that you guys put all this money into it, expecting all of this feedback when that's not what we're here for. A lot of people who were watching Marvel weren't watching TV shows. I don't want to watch a TV show to go watch a movie. They were in it for the movies. Your movie level budget should stick to your movies. You don't need your shows to have a multi-million-dollar budget. And this is just something that I've been picking up. And so, I guess we'll talk about this today. I was going to originally just sit here and gush about my obsession with Super Sentai, but we'll save that for a different video. I'm not sure why shows feel this need. And it's kind of affecting anime too, but not as much, thankfully. We're like, a lot of studios feel like they need to put all of this money into each individual IP because another is doing so. And this is affecting certain things more than others. For example, with anime, I guess it depends on how it is, right? For example, I feel like for shonen, if they're gonna be, if I'm watching like a battle anime, I want the fights to look somewhat decent. And we've had some really good examples of this. For example, like Freeman looks really good. Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, they pop the fuck off. Demon Slayer has been popping off since Entertainment District. With things like this, when I expected action scene in an anime, I do expect it to look really good. But like when it's not in action, I don't need it to be great. There is some issues though when we get to like sports animes. I know Haikyuu is very consistently good throughout the entirety of it. I'm a huge fan of Kuroko no Basket. I think that looks great. But we then have things like Blue Lock, which season 2 notoriously looks terrible. And I'm not sure how that happened. Now, I know the last episode looked really good, but I'm in the vein of like, just because one episode looks good doesn't actually fix the entire season. If your season's bad, your season's bad. One good episode cannot save you. We have stuff like Dandadan that came out that looks gorgeous the entire way through. And it's just weird because then because of how animation is progressing in the anime community, a lot of people are actually skipping over certain animes just because their animation isn't up to par. For example, A lot of people didn't watch like My Dear Friend Nokotan mainly because of the animation. I've heard some people just don't like slice of life. That's fine, but some people were saying it doesn't look that great. Same with like Sakamoto Days right now. That's getting a lot of hate because it doesn't look as good as a lot of other action animes that are coming out right now. It's just that this is an issue that will always be a thing now, and I guess maybe it's the same thing for like live action shows where it's like maybe because On My Block looks very much movie level quality, people don't want to watch. I don't know any other shows. I don't really watch live action stuff. I don't know. Alice in Borderland season 3 when that comes out locally this year. Maybe they don't want to watch that because it doesn't look as good, or maybe because people and maybe that's an issue that maybe that's why we don't have as good Kamen Rider and Super Sentai stuff now is because there's some more focus on okay we have to make this look good when in reality I just want to see people in like comically goofy suits fight. I think that's what makes it so charming is because like you look at it and those are not hard to do, like those suits are not hard to like pull off. The weapons even in the show look fake, so it's like I don't have to get just like realistic sword or anything. I don't know, man. I just feel like more shows need to like lower their budget. I'm not saying that like shows need to be like PNG slideshows, but like a lot of the time I see like fan made like animations and stuff and they look insanely good and they don't have a budget. And I'm sitting there like, well, what if we gave this guy like $200,000? Not only is his work already good for free, but like we could get him like a small team and they could work on it. I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of parts to it. Maybe it's because I mean you have to pay people, right? That's a component, and like software and stuff like that. But honestly, I just don't feel like every movie needs. I mean, every TV show needs a like multi-million-dollar per episode budget. I think that's the part that's getting me. Like, I'm pretty sure we can look it up right now, but Squid Game season 2, I'm pretty sure had an insane budget, and I'm not sure why, because it doesn't need it. Like the games and stuff, they have to look good, but it doesn't need to be it. Yeah, look at that, which is around 48 million USD, and that was 8 episodes. So that's 10 million an episode for Squid Game season 2. Did it look good? Yes, I think Squid Game season 2 looked incredible, but did it need 10 million an episode? And that's the real question you have to ask yourself, and the answer to that is I believe no. Especially when it was only 8 episodes. So you're telling me you basically dropped like 100 million, round up 90 million. It's close to that. 90 million on 8 episodes, and it's like you can't guarantee you make that back. Now with something like Squid Game, I guess it's a bad example because people did actually love season 1. So obviously when season 2 was announced, a lot of people were excited, and they even announced a season 3. I believe comes out this year, which is insane, by the way, that they can recover off of this. Almost like they could have just pushed season 2 back a bit and dropped it all. But we're not going to talk about that. I think another issue is the way they release these. They're not giving themselves time, right? Because a lot of the time, especially for Netflix shows, I think the main issue is a lot of Netflix shows have this problem where they require like an insane amount of budget for no reason. And I think it's because of how they just release their shows. For example, Netflix is really bad about being like, hey, we're going to drop all 16 episodes of this right now, and then we'll see you in 2 years, right? Which I guess I understand. A lot of people do like the binge, and that's kind of like Netflix culture is binging. But I don't know. I feel like a week to week structure is very good. Invincible's doing that right now, and it's really great. I'm watching this show on HBO Max called The Pit. That's really good. Matter of fact, that's a good comparison point. How much is The Pit's budget? Because that's actually going to be a good comparison. That's a very new show. So I'm actually kind of let's see the Pit budget. Um. Ooh. Wait. Pittsburgh. Oh, that's Pittsburgh. No, the TV show. Oh man, it showed me. Oh, shout out Pittsburgh. 3.2 billion. Hey, y'all doing crazy, man. You're doing crazy. Yeah. Look at this. So the Pit only has $3 to $4 million per episode, which I'm gonna say is insanely high. I don't have that kind of money, but also like that's significantly less than 10 million an episode, right? And these are not like D-list celebrities as the cast. Like these are some like actual really good castmate members. They've been in things before. The shows actually looks insanely good, and they have just like a slew of people coming in as like side characters and like stuff like that. So I'm not sure what the case is. By the way, you should watch The Pit. When the show is over for The Pit, I might just sit here and talk about it, but you should definitely watch The Pit. It's on HBO Max. If you have Max, check it out. Regardless, I'm not sure why they do this, but I don't know. I feel like shows need less of a budget, just so it seems. I don't know. It doesn't need that much of a budget. Like every show doesn't need to look crazy. Like I said, I think some of the charm of watching TV shows is that you know they're TV shows and not movies. I also think it's a bad thing that TV shows have kind of moved more towards longer TV shows. I know back in the day, an episode around 20 something minutes. The next thing you know, the episode was around 30 something minutes. And now it's about an hour per episode of like just a TV show, which I do think is ridiculous. But I don't know. I guess it's because they've been making TV shows longer and longer that the budget needs to be higher and higher for each one. But at the same time, what's stopping them from just decreasing the amount of? I guess if they're, I don't know. I guess it's an issue because if you are dropping all the episodes at once, you will want to drop fewer episodes, right? So maybe that's why the episodes are so much longer because Netflix is like, well, we don't want to wait. We don't want to like actually drop anything week to week. We're just going to drop it all at once. And so because of that, the episodes are just longer because you're going to be watching them in a row anyway. So it's just less time, less chances to skip next episode, I guess. I don't know, man. Couldn't tell you. Anyway, if you've been watching any good TV shows, let me know. I need some more stuff to watch. Like I said, I've been watching The Pit, been watching like Invincible, been watching what is that? Not player that can't level up. Oh my goodness. Solo leveling. Oh my goodness. Wow. I've been watching Uramichi on Nissan. That's I've actually finished that recently. Very good show. Very good show. Anyway, if you enjoy TV, let me know. If you had $10 million in a budget per episode, what would you make? I'd make really cool Super Sentai stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I could probably do that with like $10 in the budget. Honestly, you know what? If I get bored enough, let me see if I can get my friends. So I'll buy different suits. We'll make our own show. Anyway, guys, thank you for letting me waste your time. I'm just gonna ramble about some other stuff next time. All right, bye.